Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Everything Horror Podcast with your host, as always, Podolsky. Well, not always, but anyway, we got over here the lovely fiance,
Tessa Baker.
and then we got our special guest here, who, if I may say, reached out to us first after listening to our most brutal podcast ever. Well, I don't know about that,
well,
but it's definitely
he,
not. It's definitely mature.
yeah,
Yeah.
he definitely reached out to us first after listening to some of our podcast episodes, which are definitely parental advisory because we do like to fucking swear a lot.
Did that just happen? I mean, let's move on. So the guest here is um, Jed Brian, who is the writer, director, and actor in a movie called Unlisted Owner. Jed, say hi.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah,
Good.
welcome aboard. Welcome to the horror family now, as we like to call it, or gonna start saying.
Yep.
So I hope your day today wasn't as lame as maybe most of your days. I don't know. Don't. Anyway,
Well, today's been pretty good. We don't have the snow like you guys have out east,
Oh
so
yeah,
it's
we
that's been
got
pretty
we
good.
got kind of hammered today with
yeah,
Yeah.
snow.
yeah, yeah. It's not as heavy snowing as it was like five
No, but
hours
I was
ago.
freaking sliding all over the
Oh,
damn
I bet
place.
you were. Uh, Jed, if you wouldn't mind telling a little bit about yourself, so that way people here know a little bit more of what got you into horror and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm an independent filmmaker based out of southeastern Illinois. The name of my production company is Lawford County Productions, which is actually not a real county. It's a fictional place. I combined the county that I live in, Lawrence, and the county north of me, Crawford, to create this fictional county that takes place in all my different scripts. Um, I've made one feature-length film, which is entitled Unlisted Owner. It's available on Amazon, Microsoft Store, Barnes and Noble, Apple. There's a whole bunch of different platforms. But when I was a kid, I've always been interested in horror. But whenever I was a young kid, my mom had bought me a VHS of House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price,
I
and
love that movie.
yeah, great classic horror film for sure. And I also watched my first monster movie I got was King Kong versus Godzilla. Love that film. And then I'd watch the Universal monster films as I got older. I started looking into the silent film era. I love silent films, love Lon Chaney, and then started getting into like the Hostel films and Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch, stuff like that, and kept getting all these different movie ideas and thought, you know what, I think I could actually make a film. So I sat down and put pen to paper, and we ended up with Unlisted Owner in the end. So that's kind of how we got started in it.
That's actually pretty cool. One of our favorite Silent Hill films has to be Nosferatu,
Oh, Nosferatu is a very great silent film.
and
Yep.
that even has a pretty long story of that
Yes.
film too, of how we're even lucky to have it today
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Yes. Yes.
Um, yeah, I actually have a Blu-ray version of it where they actually used the color tint.
Correct. Gotcha. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I've
that
never actually seen it colored, so that'd be pretty awesome to see.
well, it's not like full blown color. It's just
Right.
um like the dark blue and like the yellow to kind of help represent night day. Which
Yeah. Gotcha.
and but if you know that famous scene, if you everybody should know the famous scene when Nosferatu's shadow is climbing up the stairs,
Stairs going
and
for
it's
the door handle. Yep.
yes, if you can picture that scene with like a dark bluish green,
Uh huh.
that like and just think of that for a minute, and then
Yeah.
that's how beautiful it looks.
Man, that I'll have to definitely check that out because that's one of my top silent films. My favorite all-time silent horror film would be Phantom of the Opera for sure. That's
Oh
my
yeah,
favorite,
that's another one too.
hands down. And actually, in the film Unlisted Owner, which you guys have seen, you saw how we had the evidence placards in the film that identify whose cameras are who from the Wofford County Sheriff's
Yep.
Department. That was kind of like my little nod back to the silent film era, how they had the little cue card, the little cards in between the different scenes and stuff like that. That was kind of like me just saying, giving a little nod back to the silent film era, because I always liked that, a little bit of a break in the tension and stuff like that in between the scenes, or be able to,
Yeah.
identify with what's going on. So
Yeah,
that
it's
was
like a
kind of
nice
neat.
little intermission. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I when we were seeing that, we're just like, I like this. Like, I don't know what it is though. Like, I feel like I should know it, but like
Yeah.
when you haven't seen it in so long, you kind
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
you're dumbfounded on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but yeah, that was part of the. We wanted to make sure, because in a lot of found footage style films, if there's multiple cameras, they, sometimes, I mean, they use camera graphics to identify sometimes, or sometimes they don't, and you can kind of get lost in it. So we
mhm.
wanted to make sure that, with the evidence placards, especially since it's crime scene evidence that's been edited together, we wanted to make sure that you could identify whose camera was whose throughout as well. And then it just kind of fit in with me wanting to, do a little homage back to the silent film era.
Yeah, yeah. I like that a lot. Um, let's see. You mentioned Universal Monster. I actually
Yes.
have the whole 30 film collection
Wow.
actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only have the it's the Universal Monster Collection. It has the original Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man. It has the Claude Rains, Phantom of the Opera, and then it also has the Creature from the Black Lagoon. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's an
I definitely need to get the larger collection for sure.
well, if you don't quote me on this because I saw it back like a few months or weeks ago, so I don't know
Hmm.
if it's still the same price, but if you go on Amazon
Hmm.
and look up the Universal Monster 30 film collection, it would
Yep.
like drop down from $100 to like 35.
Wow, that's a deal.
Yeah, so yeah, you might want to check that out.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Um I'm trying to think. Like every year, I have to watch the Dracula film from Universal Monsters because otherwise, to me, it's not Halloween.
Yep. Yep. I'm the same way with Wolfman. So that's
Yeah, Wolfman. Yeah. We also have like what's the other Mary's? How do you pronounce her last
Mary
name?
Shelley's
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
that one.
Mary Shelley Frankenstein. Yep.
Yep.
That's a good one too.
Yep. Yeah, we have like a lot of weird holiday films where we're
We
like,
have a eclectic collection.
Well,
yeah,
that's good. That's good. I just have I think I have the Universal Monster collection, and then I have some the more recent films and stuff, and I have some of the silent films, like I have the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, I think's how you pronounce it, and I'm trying to think what other ones. I think I have the Penalty with Lon Chaney. That's another one of my favorites. So
I don't even think I've seen that one, the cabinet one. I've seen it on Amazon, but I'm just like,
it's
I
it's
don't know if I've ever seen that.
it's a good one. Definitely check it out. It's very, very good.
I'll have to definitely check it out. Um, yeah, moving on. You may have already said this, so feel free to elaborate more if you
Yeah.
need to.
Yeah.
So the question is, what inspired to create Unlisted Owner? What inspired you, should I say, to create Unlisted Owner?
Well, we had, like I said before, I'd always been interested in horror films, and my parents had taken us to haunted houses and stuff as a kid, and I'd watch different little things on TV and stuff. And I was actually going to college, and I was majoring in digital entertainment game design, and I don't know, I wasn't really interested in it as like I thought I was. I was more drawn to the video editing side of it, and I kept coming up with these different script ideas and movie ideas. So I finally decided just to sit down and write a script, and it was called Meth House, and we actually shot a little teaser trailer for it, and we put it on YouTube, and we're kind of hoping that we would get some, spark from that, but it didn't really go anywhere. So we ended up hearing about a GoDaddy commercial contest. So we made a GoDaddy commercial, and we got like eighth out of like 539 videos, which was pretty awesome. I was pretty excited about that. So I sat down and thought, well, we need to actually see if we can make a feature length film. So I started brainstorming some different ideas and came up with the concept for Unlisted Owner, and we ended up getting a shooting schedule together and casted everybody and ended up making the film.
Nice. And so the GoDaddy thing that you're talking about, like, are we talking the same GoDaddy thing that does like the web hosting, or
Yes,
just
yep,
some?
yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it was a commercial contest. I'm trying to remember all the details on it. I think it had to be like a 30-second commercial, and you were supposed to have their logo somewhere in it and their music somewhere in it. And I can't remember if we still have it on YouTube, but the way you entered was through YouTube, and you had to have people vote on it and stuff like that. So in the area that I live in, is the town called Sumner, Illinois, and the population is only like 1,100 people here. So to be able to get like eighth on the community vote was pretty inspiring for sure, to show that there was a lot of support behind it, and a lot of people thought it was funny and thought it was a good commercial and good enough to. I think the first place winner was supposed to be able to get on the Super Bowl or something like that. So, but like I said, we got eighth in the community vote portion of the contest, so we were pretty proud of that.
Oh yeah, I would be too.
Yep.
I mean, Super Bowl. That's just.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, that was the goal. I think the eighth place prize was like an Alienware headset, which at the time was pretty sweet for sure.
yeah. I mean, well, Alienware like
Yeah,
ridiculously expensive enough as it
yeah,
is. So
yeah,
just getting it as like a giveaway or
yeah,
whatever. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah. As a prize, I was pretty happy to get at least something making the top 10 on that.
Yeah, that's incredible. Um, and Super Bowl. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah,
I can only
yeah.
imagine how many entries they even
Oh
get.
yeah. Like I said, I think there was like 539 videos actually submitted for it.
Oh
So,
my
because we did
God.
this back in, I believe it was 2009 or 10 is whenever we did the contest, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So, like I said, it'd been a few years, and but like I said, it was pretty crazy to go through all that. But yeah, it kind of got me thinking that, you know what? I mean, maybe we could actually I mean, we made the teaser trailer, then we did the commercial, and I kind of thought, well, maybe we could actually make a feature length film. So that's what we kind of went through to make Unlisted Owner. It's just kind of like the test stages to see if what we were capable of at that point in time.
Ooh, I just thought of a question that I didn't even write down. That would actually be interesting to know. But if you don't happen to mention it down the road, then
Yeah.
I'll have to
Well, if you
say
want to
it.
ask it right now, that's fine.
Oh, I can wait. I
Okay.
mean, it might one of these questions might spark it, and if not,
Okay.
then I'll say something. But
You sure you
Okay.
don't want to while it's fresh in your mind?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I got this. I got this. All right, Tessa. What's the next question?
Did you have to prepare yourself at all for your character role?
uh, Not as much. I mean, from a writer standpoint, because I kind of knew what I wanted. Um, in which acting in a film, you're also directing and producing and everything else is kind of especially your first film, it's kind of a challenge all on its own, because it's
Yes.
kind of hard to sit back and listen to the dialogue to make sure it's good, and make sure there's no holes in it, or where they're making sure they're not forgetting a certain part, or making sure they're not doing a certain thing that you want them to do. So I was kind of more preparing myself to do that than the actual like getting into the character, because when I was writing the script, you're sitting there writing this thing, and you're kind of going back and forth in your head what these characters are saying, kind of arguing, or decision making, or just general conversations. So I kind of knew already what my character was supposed to do, but the most challenging part was just kind of figuring out the making sure the scene was going smoothly. We actually had a digital transmitter on the camera, and I had a TV set up in the one of the other rooms, which on the DVD on the special features you'll kind of see our little setup we had, and I had an assistant director that was in there who was kind of watching what I was doing, and he was always close enough to where he could hear our dialogue to make sure what we were saying was all right. So after we shoot a scene, I would go to him immediately and say, all right, how'd it look? And he would say, okay, well, it looked great, but you need to bring the camera up more. You need to focus. I think it'd be cool if you focused on this. And we kind of hash out what we thought, and then we go back and do the scene again.
Hmm.
Hmm, that's pretty cool.
That is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. The digital transmitter helped greatly because most of the time, I mean, we did have a playback and stuff too, but to have him just to have another set of eyes that I trusted, he also co-edited the film with me. That really helped kind of get it to where it was.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, this is from some experience too for me. I used to help a local filmmaker around here,
Hmm.
and with like setting up and stuff like that. And I can only imagine having to direct and write because he did it too in one of
Hmm.
his films where he was
Yeah.
acting and directing at the same time, technically.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can only imagine, like you said, with
Yeah.
like the audio and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
is it loud enough or whatever? But then
Right.
again, usually if you, I don't know if you did it, but we or he did something similar when I acted in a little short story for him too.
Yeah.
Um, where we would just do not really act it all out, but we would like just act out the line so
Yeah.
that way he could play it back and just to make sure like his
Audio was working and stuff.
exactly. I don't know if you
Yeah.
did anything similar.
No, what we actually it was kind of a weird setup because found footage is not like like a traditional film
No.
setup, so you don't have like a boom mic operator or anything like that. So actually all the audio recorded for the film was filmed through the camcorders, which we could have done some different mic stuff, but I wanted to kind of get that real grit to it to
Mhm.
make it seem as real as possible. So that's what we ended up doing. But actually something kind of a little kind of little tidbit of information. When we signed our distribution deal, one of the requirements was an M&E track, which we did not have. An M&E track, if you're not familiar with that, is basically the dialogue, the speaking dialogue of the film, separate from all the background noises. Well, our audio was all on one track. It was not separated. So we had to actually go back for the foreign markets to be able to dub over our voices. We actually had to go back and recreate every sound effect for the entire film.
Oh my god.
So that took a lot of time to do. Actually, something kind of funny. In the film, I have a fictional girlfriend that I actually kiss, and I needed a kiss sound, and now I'm married. So the kiss sound for the foreign market to see is actually me kissing my wife, but it's actually a footage of me kissing another girl. So it's it's kind of one of the funniest little things about it. So, but that's going to be for the overseas version whenever that gets released.
Nice. Yeah, congratulations by the way on getting married. Yeah, you
Oh, thank you.
already
Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
actually having a baby on the way too. So we found out the
Oh,
movie. Yeah, thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we found out the movie was coming out about uh let's see, 2 days before we found out we were expecting. So
Aw,
it's so it yeah, so it's been an amazing time for me for sure. So, and I've
boy
been
or
really
girl?
busy. We're gonna have a boy. It's the way it's looking. So,
Oh, you got lucky. You
yeah.
don't have to buy that shotgun right away.
So yeah, so we're pretty excited about that. So
Well, good, good. Yeah, I mean, me and Tessa and I have been together for almost 2 years now, and I just kind of just figured, you know what? I think besides the fact that I'm getting older and I'm not getting any younger and stuff, I just like, me and her have way too much in common. and it would be ashamed if I ever let her go, which a lot of people would come after me anyway, especially Bill, if you're listening, don't even think about bringing that fireman axe. Just don't. I really hope you're not listening to this. We love you, Bill. Anyway,
Yeah, we have so much in common. We share so many of the same passions for so many things, and we've actually helped each other grow so much in the time that we've been together that like Paul says, it would be a shame for him to let that kind of a connection go because those kind of connections are rare.
Right, for sure. Yep. And that's something you gotta, stick with, and that's the same way with me and her. So,
well, that's good.
yeah, she's
Yeah,
been very supportive of the whole project and stuff, and she's been with me on different interviews I've done, rode with me, and
oh,
helped put up posters and all that
yeah,
stuff.
she's a
So,
keeper too, and that's
yep,
why you
for
married
sure.
her.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So, yeah, and
Yeah,
so
well, I'll be there soon enough too. I mean, I know we're engaged, but I mean, to make it official, it will be today for sure.
well,
Right?
congratulations on
Right.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Um, so Jed, how were you able to get the emergency vehicles in that scene? Like when all the vehicles were there? Like,
Yeah, when we were pulling the body out of the house, yeah,
yeah,
I'm actually a volunteer firefighter in the community I live in. So, being a volunteer firefighter, I had access to police and ambulance and fire, and my mom is actually good friends with the coroner. So, I was able to have all those resources at my fingertips, and I gave some
Some
donations
pretty
to
good
different.
connections.
right.
Yes, yes, for sure. Yeah, it worked out. It worked out great. All the fire and police personnel and ambulance personnel you see in the film are all actual, real life, first responders.
Oh,
So
wow.
That's cool. That's
yeah,
really cool.
So
yeah.
how did they take the idea of your film though?
They were very excited about it and very eager to do it.
That's awesome.
Everybody pitched in and was willing to help, and it worked out great. And I mean, I didn't have to worry about finding actors to dress up like firefighters or dress up like paramedics or dress up like police officers because these guys, they do this job so often, it just looks natural and flows, and there's no mistakes. It's not, they don't look stiff as a board sitting there carrying the cot or anything like that. And, they're just their body language, it doesn't look like they're acting. I mean, that's just what, that's how they actually are on scene.
Exactly. Yeah. I know a couple people who volunteer for the fire department around here too, so it was definitely just interesting. Um, because I didn't know if you had to like somehow go in and be like, "Hey, I'm shooting this movie," and
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys would be willing to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did like, well, the firefighters, I have very good rapport with and everything, so that was no problem there. And then the same thing with the police, the ambulance. I actually went over and asked them if they would, be happy to come over, and I'd give them a little donation, and that's kind of what we ended up doing on that deal.
Oh, nice. I like that. It's always good to know to have those type of connections too, because
Yep,
maybe down the road you may need them again.
yep, yep, for sure. Yeah, and like I said, and anybody who's making an independent film, I mean, if you need emergency vehicles or something like that, just ask. I mean, the worst thing they're going to say is no. So
Yeah,
you might as well
exactly.
try.
Exactly.
Do you feel your film is like an underground film?
Yes and no. I mean, it's definitely it is an underground film. The aspect that it's an indie film. We actually had submitted to different film festivals, and the competition's really really tough anymore on the film festival market. and we didn't really get any of the thought festivals that we were hoping for. But we actually went out to the American Film Market in Los Angeles, and we ended up having three distribution companies who were interested in the film. So we weren't exactly sure how it was gonna what the response was going to be to it once it was released. But I mean, the fact that we had made it all the way up to ninth in Amazon's hot new horror release list, and we peaked at 9 in October. So the fact that we had done that during like the stiffest competition for horror films and going up against like Walking Dead season 7 had just came out, and American Horror Story season 6, so going up against TV shows and films on the DVD side, and to be ninth was pretty awesome. So I mean, our film is an underground film, but at the same time it has had some success.
Well, I'll definitely say it's underground because I didn't even know this movie existed until you sent that email to me.
So there
So,
you go.
so yeah, see, so that's why I kind of threw in that question because
Yeah.
I just felt like it was necessary because if I'd never heard of it, because correct me if I'm wrong, but it's I noticed on IMBD,
DB. Yeah.
yep, it said that Unlisted Owner was 2013.
Yeah, it was actually we actually completed it in 2013. We tried the festival route, and like I said before, it didn't really go anywhere. And then I found out about the American film market, but I had found out that I had missed it, so I had to wait a whole nother year to go to the American film market. And then I had to wait a whole half a year to hear back from all the distributors that I had talked to. And I ended up with three. And then I ended up negotiating and figuring out which one was going to be the best deal and signed it in later that same year. And then I ended up having to do the M&E track stuff before we could actually get a release date set. And then finally it was released. So that was the big gap there. So the first time it's ever actually been released on uh, like a public market was this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
was definitely a labor of love for sure for a while,
Oh yeah.
because we weren't for sure exactly where we were going to what we were going to do, if we were going to have to self distribute it or what we were going to do, especially since we weren't really getting into the festivals like we were hoping.
Okay. Yeah. I I don't know if it still goes on around here anymore. Either I might have to look into it, or you could look into it as well. But where we live in Vermont, there's actually like um a film festival too for like horror film too.
Gotcha.
So you
Yeah,
could always try that out.
and that was another probably mistake that I had made, was I actually had submitted to more of the major ones instead of trying to submit to as many as possible. I kind of limited ourselves on what we had what we submitted to, so that the year that we had done it. So I kind of wished I would have submitted to more than what I had as well.
You always could. There's
Yep.
still time.
Yep.
So Jed, I know you. I think you and me were talking about this, so I
Yep.
apologize ahead of time if you wanted to wait to say this at the end.
No,
From
it's
what I,
fine.
was- but the question is, so where was Unlisted Owner shot at?
Yeah, it was shot in my hometown of Sumner, Illinois. It was shot in and around Sumner. The actual house that we filmed in is right on Christie Avenue in Sumner, right on the main drag. It was vacant when we shot the movie, but there people have since moved into the house. And
Or
all
did you
the
warn them about the Owner?
I, I think I think they have been warned. I'm pretty sure they have been.
All
Um,
right.
they're familiar with the legend.
Okay. Awesome.
But and then the most of the out in the country scenes and stuff were filmed south of Sumner, but we're located in southeastern Illinois. We're actually that little part of Illinois that goes into Indiana on the eastern border, so that's where we're located.
Nice. Yeah, I wouldn't know too much about Illinois anyway, so
Yeah,
I
there's
just know Chicago.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty
yeah,
much.
we're about 4 hours from Chicago, 2.5 from St. Louis, 2.5 from Indy, an hour and a half from Evansville, Indiana. So we're kind of like right in 2.5 from Louisville, so we're kind of like right in the middle of everything. But there's the only thing here is pretty much either oil wells or farming. That's about it.
Better than being around a city, I guess.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to remember where the largest mall in Illinois is located.
it's not anywhere close to us, that's for sure.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, yeah. Our closest mall is an hour and a half in Evansville, Indiana. So,
And I'll say it again. I wish you have them all.
yep, yep.
How long did it take you to shoot the film?
Actual shooting, it probably took us about, I would say, 3 months, but it was over about a year span. We shot on the weekends, and we in the film we do these things. Whenever you guys watched it, like especially like the road trip scene and different scenes, it seemed like they went a long time and there wasn't any mistakes or major dialogue errors. What we did was these things called blend edits or jerk edits, and basically what that was is we would do a scene and we go a little bit into the next scene, and whenever we do that transition, since I was also the camera operator and acted in it, I would dip the camera right before we go into that next dialogue. And then when we shoot the next scene, we would back up and go into the last scene, and I do that same dip, and we'd cut it and put it together in the editor, and it looked like one fluid scene. So it looked like, this was one continuous shot that goes on for 5 or 10 minutes without having a camera change. But one of the reasons it kind of took a little longer to get the film out was when we shot one of our scenes. I was actually, when we were at the cemetery, whenever I exited the vehicle, we did one of those little jerk edits, and when we had it in the editing room, we were looking at it, and something wasn't right. Something was off. I couldn't figure out what it was, and we watched it probably 50 times, that one little area. And then I realized that Gavin had taken the keys out of the ignition, and then whenever I got out of the vehicle was running. And what had happened was my actors had gotten cold, so I told them just to start the vehicle and just have the lights off. Well, it, it didn't work out very well because you're in the vehicle and it's off, and you get out of the vehicle and it's running. So we actually I had to wait till I could get everybody together, and we had to reshoot that scene again. So that kind of took some time. And then also another thing we kind of had happen, since it was actually our first attempt at a feature length film, after we had done everything. There was that road trip scene, and there was another scene I actually hadn't even shot. I just thought I had enough for the film, and we put it in the editor, and it was 50 minutes. So we actually had to go back and shoot those scenes. So that kind of also made it longer to be able to get the film out.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard when you can't get everybody at the same time, so
Yes.
you have to do little
Yeah.
by little, even if you just work with one person, and then you have
Right.
to kind of fill in
Right.
at the other person just to help them
Yeah,
know. Yeah,
that's one thing that's good about, if you had Hollywood back at you, you can do this during the week instead of just the weekends. But
yeah.
whenever you're dealing with a group of your friends and acquaintances, you can't really be too harsh on them. So you got to kind of work around their scheduling, and being able to schedule was kind of a little bit of a pain, but we got through it. We had one actor who worked every other weekend, and another actress who worked well, almost every weekend, but she could one day every weekend she would either work Saturday or Sunday. So, but we were able to kind of get through that, but that was kind of a challenge there for a little bit too.
Morning or night shift or evening.
It was evening.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, actually, I think she actually did. I think she did lunch too. She worked at a restaurant, so
Oh,
sometimes we would say, okay, we're going to shoot a night scene. Can you work that, like that afternoon, or we're going to shoot a day scene, setting up camp. Can you do that evening or something like that, and just kind of work around people's schedules. But it could be difficult at times, especially when they're volunteering their time to kind of help you out. So
nice. Yeah, I mean, the film that I was in, we shot it over the weekend.
yeah.
Or, yeah, yeah. I think it was a couple weekends actually, too. And that was brutal.
Yeah.
I remember almost staying up 24 hours one night with them because this actor who was very limited because he flew in from wherever he was, like Florida or whatever,
Really?
and I just remember he kept getting his stuff wrong, or it
Ah,
wasn't good enough or something. It
gotcha.
was really bad. So um, we actually had to run to like a store, like maybe at like midnight, just to go buy candles to make it look like the place that we're at was still like
Daylight?
not daylight, but like it was like
Dusk.
still it was still going, like it was still
Gotcha.
open because it was
Yeah.
a haunted house attraction type of deal.
Ah,
Yeah, so
man.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
not fun.
yeah, I didn't have to run. Like I said, the actors in my film were pretty much friends or acquaintances of mine, so it kind of worked out in that aspect. And we when I wrote the script, I already had most of the cast in mind, what parts I wanted to play.
Hmm.
So, and I mean, being around your friends, you kind of know their different mannerisms, different things they say, different ways they talk. So you kind of take that what different things they would say and you apply them to the character that you want them to be. So that really kind of helped. And we also, before we started filming shooting the film, we did a round table read with everybody and the main cast, anyways. And we went around and I would say, we'd go through it. And if they say, well, I don't feel comfortable saying this, can I say this? We do little changes like that, try to make the dialogue as smooth as possible. And, as long as it didn't take away from the main story, like it's not really like ad libbing, but just kind of changing it to where they'd be more comfortable with what they were saying.
Oh, okay. So did you ever have to like ask one of your friends, like, hey, like, like this is gonna be an example right now, like, hey Tessa, would you say this to me? Blah 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 blah. Or did that feel like it would be you? Blah 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 blah. Like, did you feel like if you wrote something, did you ever have to ask to make sure like this friend of yours would actually say something of this, or because like since they are your friend, you know?
No, it was more or less like I gave them kind of freedom as long as it didn't go away from the main script. And like I said, when we did the read throughs, we would change different stuff. We did the round table at first, and then whenever we would do like a major scene, like whenever we did we had the big one whenever we were pulling the body out of the house and we had the bystanders and everything else, we actually did a roundtable read the night before and kind of going over and doing a game plan of what we were going to do to try to make it run as smooth as possible because it was a big, it was a big undertaking. I mean, there I was with my camera and I had all these extras I had to deal with and also my cast. So
Yeah. Yeah, we were given freedom too with the film that I was in. Which I'll send you the link to that
yeah, for sure.
after this, and that way if you want to check it out, go for it.
Yeah.
I'll just give you a short version real quick. We actually did an episode on it actually. So you can always go back and read that. Wow, listen to that. It's called The Dead Static. I think it was the anthology of horror or something, or three tales of horror or whatever I called the
Yep.
episode. Yeah, pretty much. It was three tales based off of real haunted places here in Vermont,
Hmm.
and the guy just pretty much made a found footage film based on the stories
The haunted
around
place.
here. Yep.
Cool. That's a neat
Yeah.
concept for sure.
Yeah, it is a neat concept because it's kind of cool to have seen like the story or the haunted person that's haunting the
Hmm.
spirit that's haunting the place kind of come to life more.
Yeah.
Even though the story that I was in is definitely fictional, because the spirit that I dealt with, or should I say we dealt with, because I was technically like a reporter in a way.
Hmm.
Like, well, a cameraman for this reporter, I should say. So we
Yeah.
dealt with a very evil little girl.
Gotcha.
But in the real place, um, it's actually a nice spirit rather than a full blown
Evil one.
killing machine, evil little spirit.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Um. Otherwise, that's pretty much the only fabric of the stuff. Really, everything else is pretty much real. So we even have
Cool.
that famous statue in Montpelier, which apparently I didn't even know this, but I had to read the book about it. But there's three statues of it. One I think is actually in Illinois, isn't it?
I think so, but I'm not entirely certain. I'd have to go back and look in the book.
It's called the Black Agus. I don't know if you ever heard of that, Jed.
Mm-mm. No, I'm not familiar with it.
Oh boy. Well, okay. We won't blast your ears again, people, with this, but we'll definitely fill you in, Jed. At
Okay.
the and I don't know, maybe sometime down the road, if the other one is near you. I mean, I wouldn't say do it, but I mean, if you
Go check it
really,
out.
yeah, if you really want a real horror story thing for a film, yeah, be my guest.
Yeah, it's good. It's a really interesting urban legend.
Yes, it is.
Cool. Yeah, we have in our area. I think there's one urban legend I'm familiar with. There's this bridge. It's an old railroad bridge. They call it the Cannonball Bridge, and it connects Illinois to Indiana. And it's a one-lane bridge. There's no like red and green lights to notify when another person can come across the bridge. And it's has the wooden boards on it and stuff like that. It's real creepy, but they call it Purple Head Bridge. And supposedly, if you drive on the bridge and stop in the middle and turn your headlights off and honk your horn 3 times, supposedly you can see a purple head float across. I don't know. I've never done it. Um, but I think they kind of frown upon people doing it who own, the town. I think the town of St. Francisville operates the bridge. And I think they kind of frown upon people doing that, especially when there's other cars waiting. But yeah, I've never actually done it, but it's a pretty creepy bridge, especially to drive across at night.
That almost reminds me of Emily's Bridge. Yeah. Anyway, same aspect of that bridge, but the only difference is you don't honk your horn. You don't honk your horn. You just
Huh.
you just turn off the headlight and then you just shut off your car.
Huh.
And
And then supposedly you can actually see the ghost of Emily around your car. You can like hear her walking up to the car. You can hear what sound like scratching
Wow.
along your car. And then the last one is if you try to turn on your car when you're stopped on the bridge, your car may not start.
Man, so make sure you have someone behind you with a set of jumper cables.
pretty
I
much.
think they're gonna be needing more than just jumper cables, but yeah.
Have the whole
Um,
Ghostbusters behind you.
right. But yeah, I mean, I've been to Emily's Bridge, and I mean, there's all I'm gonna say is there's definitely something there.
Well,
Yeah.
if I'm ever in Vermont, I'll have to check it out then.
Oh boy. Road trip.
Yeah, there you go.
um, I noticed in the film that there was a symbol painted on the wall inside the
Yep.
house on the wall in
Hmm.
blood, and then I also noticed that the same symbol is painted on the back of the killer's boot.
Yes.
What is the significance of that symbol? What is it supposed to represent?
Well, I actually have it written to explain it more in Unlisted Owner 2. If I'm hoping we can eventually maybe make Unlisted Owner 2, but
See, didn't we have that discussion too
We
about
did.
that?
Yeah, about Unlisted Owner too. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
yeah,
we did.
I would definitely wouldn't mind. I would love to make an Unlisted Owner 2, but like I said, we have people living in the house right now, but maybe eventually we might be able to work something out. It just kind of depends on what we make off this film to be able to invest into the next one. I have a couple other different ideas I'd like to do too. But like I said, it just all kind of depends on funding and what kind of, because I'd like to do a traditionally shot film next. But if the demand's there for Unlisted Owner 2, I might have to try to work something out to be able to get that going for sure.
I like it, and I really do hope that we can hopefully down the road see Unlisted Owner 2 because
Awesome. Well, I
we
appreciate
definitely
that.
well we did enjoy your movie.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest, even trying to rent the film, I was just like, oh god, here we go. I was like, let's hope we like this, cause I otherwise gonna feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've had that happen before because of the fact that on Amazon they were selling
Renting.
renting the new Resident Evil for a couple
Yeah.
of bucks, and we ended up watching it and we hated it.
Well, I'm glad that you guys enjoyed this and thought it was a good enough film to have me on your show. So I greatly appreciate that.
Well, it make you feel better. Just think of it as that as a big compliment. We're saying
Yes, for sure.
your movie that I don't know how much it was filmed with, but that would technically the question I would wait into maybe ask is like what was the budget for this film, and
Yeah.
and then because once you say that, then look at it as a compliment where Hollywood spent like I don't know, well, just I don't even know how much the last
However
Resident
much
Evil
on way too much
Yeah.
CGI and
All
fighting
that stuff.
action
Yeah.
bullshit.
too much
Yeah.
action all at once, no
Yeah,
build up type of
Yeah.
bullshit.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Well,
Ugh.
yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't spend anywhere near that. I spent about between 15 and 20K on this one. So, so very, very small budget compared to
Hollywood. Yeah.
Hollywood.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
very much so. So I thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. It's one of the nicest things I've heard is that's better than the new Resident Evil. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, we used to try to be fair, the Void, the new Void movie that came out.
Yeah.
I could not sit through it because one, I'm part deaf, so I need subtitles. This film
Yeah.
did not offer subtitles.
Oh man, that's a big no-no.
I think we were like halfway through the movie before I lost interest in the movie itself, and all I was I know you can explain what you did, but
I fell asleep.
yeah, you know it's not that
You
good
know it's bad when I
when you
fall
fall
asleep.
asleep.
Well, I'm glad that you guys didn't have to rest your eyes during mine and you enjoyed it all the way through and through and hope there's a sequel. So I greatly appreciate that.
Well, we'll have to help you promote Unlisted Owner some more then, so that
Well,
way you can get that Unlisted Owner too. Wink, wink.
there you go. Yeah. If you want to know about the symbol and everything else and have all the questions answered, buy your copy of Unlisted Owner.
There you go. We'll even put winks for it too for you guys.
There you awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
No problem. Yeah, that was definitely bugging her. She just like, this is the second time I've
I'm
seen this
I'm
symbol.
like I'm like I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And he's like, what? And
Back up.
I was like, I just saw the symbol that was painted on the wall on the back of the killer's boot. And he's like, wait, what? I was like, seriously, rewind it. So
So
he
we rewound
rewinds
it.
it, and then
Yeah.
he's watching the boot. He's watching the boot, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're right." And I'm like, "See, I told you."
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
glad
really observant. I notice little details and shit like that.
awesome. Well, I'm glad that you noticed that and are intrigued by the symbol and wanting to know more about it. And I'm really really hope I can be able to make an unlisted donor too because like I said, the script, the whole story around it is there. It's just just be able to have the funding to do it and maybe have access to the house would be the only question.
Well, maybe she starts scaring them away with that Unlisted Owner legend. Maybe it might happen. Or what you could always do is try to find a house similar, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that can be a
Yeah.
pain too.
Oh yeah, because that house is very unique for sure. I mean, it's the only one like it around here, and
Yeah.
everything that you see in the house, I mean, that is the house. We did build a set. The only thing that actually is not in the house is the attic space. We actually had to build a set because there was no attic space in the house.
What?
Yeah,
What?
that yeah, that is actually a fake room. So
Hmm.
I'm we
Well done.
Yeah, well
well,
done.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, we actually wanted to make sure we can match the room with the room in the house, and I had local contractors here. Tom Doyle Construction is actually the ones, they actually built the room for me in the same specs and everything. And because we have an individual that goes up in the attic space, I won't go into too much detail about that. Don't want to spoil anything, but whenever you there's probably about, I think there's 5 edits right there in that one scene where I enter the room and I pan the camera back and forth. And so you're in the real room, and then you're in the fake room, you're in the real room, you're in the fake room, and you're back in the real room again. Did you guys notice any edits or any differences in those little shots there at all?
I don't think so.
Well,
Cause
I'm glad. Well,
yeah.
that was the goal, because we actually how we did it was we had the fake room built, and I actually had a headset on, and I had my camera recorded, or set to record, and I had another person who would press play on my phone, and I recorded that section where we were in the fake room, or in the real room, I'm sorry. And I would try to time the where I would aim the camera with the sound of the video to try to get the timing right on everything, so we could just take the scene, just cut it and put it in there, and it would look as fluid as possible. So I had one person doing that. I had 2 people operating the flashlights we use in the film, and I had 2 people up on top. One person was helping the actor up into the attic space, and there was another person up there who would actually shut the lid on the attic space. So it took us about 30 takes to be able to get that whole thing right, but we ended up getting it. And then also, we did not crack the ceiling in the house. That was actually done in the fake room as well.
Nice.
So whenever, if you remember, whenever we were concentrating on the symbol, and that whole thing had happened, that is actually in the fake room, the crack.
Okay. Okay.
So if you didn't notice that either, that's good.
No, I don't think we did. I think you did a pretty good job fooling the eye of what was real and what fake. I guess.
Well,
So
well,
good.
thanks. That's good. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what we were aiming for. Like I said, we wanted to have the rooms, the room be the same spec, and thank God the downstairs looked the same as the room we were in upstairs, because it had the popcorn ceiling and just the plain white drywall. So that made it a lot cheaper. That we just only had to reproduce one room to match them both. So
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, anything that can be done easy is definitely the
yes,
best way to go.
yes, yes,
um.
definitely cutting costs on any film, that is key to success.
Yeah. Like. For some fun facts for the film that I was in, near the end of my tale, when the female reporter gets right before she dies, she gets like choked in the midair, like she get pretty much gets lifted in the midair,
Oh, really?
and like it pretty much getting choked by the spirit, and then she falls to the ground after
Uh-huh.
she pretty much choked to death.
Yeah.
We actually used 2 ladders and like a metal bar thing between
Uh-huh.
the ladders, and we actually had to have one person help hold the bar
So it wouldn't
because
fall.
well, not just that, but like so it wouldn't roll.
Oh, gotcha.
So like so yeah, so that is what we had to use to have her get lifted up like she was getting choked to death.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's one thing a lot of people don't realize, especially with Unlisted Owner, like some of the stuff like that. We actually had to build a set to be able to do it, and sometimes, it's kind of a double-edged sword if you think about it. I mean, you put all the time and hard work into making it look as real as possible, and then no one notices the hard work you put
Pays
into it,
off.
because you make it look so good. But if you made it look like, where people can notice it, the like, well, that's crappy, but we know that you did that. But you make it so good to where no one notices. It's like, well, I didn't know that.
Well, then that's when I get the DVD copy of your film, I'll have to when we rewatch it, I'll have to try to keep my eye better on the room to really
Yeah,
make sure.
yeah. Like I said, if I haven't had anybody notice it yet. When we did those blend edits, like I talked about earlier,
Yeah.
we tried to make it to where when we were in the editing room that we couldn't see the edits anymore. So, so if you notice them, let me know. But like I
I
said, I
don't
haven't had
think I
anybody
did.
notice it. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, did you? Nah, she's
Mm-mm.
shaking. No, she didn't even notice either. So you're all good.
All right, success.
Exactly. Um, I think we already answered this one. I really don't want to repeat yourself again, Jed, either. If
Okay.
you did. So let me see. Unless you want to elaborate more on it, but otherwise, if we've already mentioned it, just feel free to say, yeah, I'm pretty sure we mentioned it. We can move on, which is fine. Uh, you did you tell us how Wofford County production began? Which I think you did because you told us
Yep.
that you took like two town names or something and pretty
Yep.
much
Yep.
threw it together. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. In all my scripts that I've written, it mentions Lawford County in it, and it's not that Lawford County's in the same place. There could be a Lawford County,
Anyway.
Vermont. There could be a
Yep.
Lawford County, anywhere. And because to my knowledge, there is no actual Lawford County anywhere in the U.S.
Okay.
that I've found. Anyways, I've tried to research. I haven't found it, but I mean, there may be one out there, but I'm not aware of it if there is. So that's kind of like it's kind of like the Springfield, in the Simpsons.
Oh,
Who knows
geez.
what Springfield they're talking about. So that's kind of like I wanted to kind of do that with my scripts, to have that kind of staple of all these different stories that take place in these places called Lawford County.
Yeah, so it could happen anywhere, pretty much. Like
Anywhere.
this
Yep.
could be your town.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
But then
Lawford County,
again,
Vermont.
yeah, right. Don't come here or do come here. That's up to you.
Yeah, there you go.
So the next question is, you mentioned you took like a class, unless that was off the interview thing.
Yeah.
So how many classes did you have to take to learn how to direct your own films?
Directing, none. Video editing, I think I took a couple, I think maybe two or three classes I took with, I think one was Adobe, maybe it's just two. I think one was Adobe Premiere and the other one was After Effects, maybe. I might have only taken one. I can't remember. It was either one or two. But yeah, that's all I took because, like I said, the majority of my degree was for digital entertainment game design.
Yeah, which just you might as well put it on the record that when you were in that 3D class for gaming, that's how you
Yeah,
pretty much got the idea of to direct your film
yeah.
or
Well,
make
whenever I
your
was,
film.
I had these different script ideas and stuff because I've always been interested in horror, and then when I started messing around with video editing a little bit, I decided, hey, I'd kind of like to maybe do something, and I got these ideas in my head, so why not just try to write a script and just kind of see what happens, and that's kind of how it, all began.
I like that. It's always the weirdest way to get
Yes.
like inspired or
Yeah.
get like that idea to you. Like um I took like back in my what would that be? Seventh grade, sixth grade. Oh God, seventh grade. Yes, it was seventh grade. Seventh grade. Uh, I forget what they called it, but it was almost like a year-end study type of program,
Hmm.
and it was more like an elective where you got to pick like I think it was two or three type of electives you could do, like
Yeah.
whether it be like bowling, poetry, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Well, I ended up doing like a poetry class because I loved like Robert Frost stuff and
Gotcha.
and um and H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I was just like, I'd like to learn poetry.
Yeah.
So I got into that class and made my first ever piece called The Bee, which had a very dark sense of humor in a way. Like it's funny humor, but you got to think like seventh grade, so I was
Right.
probably thir-
12,
yeah,
13.
like 12, 13 years old, and I'm still writing dark pieces. Like, um,
So you got inspired just from that one class.
yeah, I got inspired from that one class to start learning and writing my own.
Yeah.
So when 2003 came along, I actually wrote my very first like non-schoolish type piece per se,
Yeah.
called "Fear of Death," and so I went from like the Bee and like another one called like "Come with Me," which
Yeah.
talked about like come with me to a magical place for wizards and everything is free, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And then you get like the Bee, where I'm talking about how the bee. How did it go? I think I can remember this by heart. Let's see. Buzz Buzz said the bee. Then he flew into a tree. Oh, gee, that guy is going to swap me. Um, as a as the bee stung him right on his finger or something like that, and then Buzz Buzz said the bee, and then the ending goes something like the guy went home to sit on his couch. His finger swelled up to the sky and something something. Like it's just like, oh my god. Pretty much just saying. Pretty much the guy was like died because this bee
Me
stung
stung
him
him.
on the finger.
Yeah, allergic reaction to the
Yeah,
bee.
pretty much allergic
Gotcha.
reaction. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
And then it kind of blossomed into other stuff. Yeah, that's kind of like I said with, when I was a senior in high school, if you would have asked me, what were you gonna do? I was gonna make video games or, design video games or something like that. That was what I was gonna do. And no way in anywhere in my mind at that time would I be a film director or writer or even an actor in a film. So it's amazing how things can change in such a little amount of time for sure.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And I wrote for some years too, like my own stuff. Like I mainly turned it into like lyrics, where like if I was in a band, I could use them as a song kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then it got to the point where people were like, "You got your stuff is pretty good. Why don't you publish it?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know as how well my writing would do if I were to publish it.
Gotcha.
And then almost, well, over 2 years ago, when was it? December 22nd, 2015 was when I published my first ever book called For the Brokenhearted.
Hmm.
So that had all my pieces from 2001 to like 2015.
Cool. So is it poetry or is it short stories or?
It's like poetry and kind of short stories, but I used like a lyrical um
Sense.
way out of it. So like I was
Gotcha.
telling a story through lyrical form. So yeah, like like back when I used to be in a band and stuff, I actually made like an album called Her Love Is Black, and that
Hmm.
featured 13 tracks, and two two out of the 13 tracks were actually instrumental, but the rest were just all my lyrics pretty
Lyrics.
much telling the story.
Cool.
Yeah, which it pretty much was. It's easy to tell. Pretty much it was about this female that was using this guy, pretty much like almost like a demon, you could say. And
Gotcha.
but she's like one of those old, like ancient type of deal where like in
Yeah.
order to get rid of her, you're gonna have to destroy her skulls and bone kind of thing.
I gotcha.
So as you're listening to the story, the protagonist realizes that he's been used. So
Uh-huh.
his mission is to um stop loving her, but to find her skull and bone to destroy her.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's pretty much how that came to be. Um, Other than that, we got one more question for you, and if there's anything at the end of this that
Yeah.
we didn't mention, it'll be your free time to definitely fill
Okay.
in anything. And Tessa, what's the final question?
Besides having dreams for filming Unlisted Owner 2, is there anything else that you're working on at this time?
Um, well, just mainly scripts. Like I said before, I'd kind of like to make a, traditionally shot film, to be the next one. So we're gonna have to buy some new equipment and stuff like that, some lighting and some mics, and update our computer software and stuff like that. So it's gonna take a little bit of funding before we can actually do the next one. I wouldn't mind doing Meth House. Um, which we have a teaser trailer on YouTube for. It's about a group of friends who are kind of caught in the middle of this war between the farmers and these meth addicts. That this stuff has made them like almost like real creepy looking and almost superhuman in ways, which sometimes isn't far from the truth. But so I mean, I'd kind of like to do something like that possibly, or we have a couple other scripts. So, but as far as that goes, I mean, that's all we've been. I mean, right now we're just kind of trying to promote Unlisted Owner and just kind of see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean that's probably the best idea because
Yeah,
one, that helped you get Waterford County production name out there as well.
yeah,
Unlisted Owner, your first movie, so you
yep,
definitely want to promote the shit out of it.
yeah,
And yeah, and I mean, you just got to treat it like it's your baby, which it is.
yep, yep,
And yeah, I mean, you kind of want to watch it grow.
yeah,
Now, so 2013 was when it would change, or when it was completed.
yeah.
And then you
Whenever,
said the other years were the festivals.
yeah, we finished it in late 2013. And the following year in 14, we submitted to different film festivals and stuff. And at the about November 14th, whenever I had gotten, word that we weren't going to make it into, our last one we'd submitted to. And then I had heard about the American film market. So, but I had missed it. So I had to wait till 15 to go to the American film market. And then 16, I finally, about middle of 16, I heard back from all the distributors. And then I signed my deal. And I think October of 16, I had sent it off for a QC check, quality check. And they told me I needed to create the M&E track for it. And there was a few other things that we needed to fix as far as like stuff being inside of frame. So we had to from February. I think February is when we heard back about the M&E track. We got our list of stuff we had to fix. So we spent from February to July to recreate every sound effect for the film for the foreign markets. And then in I think it was September we found out that it was available for it was going to be available for pre-order, and it was made available. I think September 14th or September 20. I think September 21st is when it was made available for pre-order, and the following day we found out it was top 15 on Amazon. So that's kind of like the time frame.
Hmm. Well, I was gonna kind of ask, like, have you noticed maybe not traumatic, but like a boost in I don't want to say popularity, but uh, like
Like a peek?
audience wise, like, have you noticed like there's a peak? Yeah, like Tessa was trying to say, like, did you notice throughout the years? I mean, it's been technically almost well, it's been over 4 years now, but
Yeah.
so
You
within
mean
the
a peak in the interest
yeah,
of the film?
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. We because we finished it in 13. Um, we did two showings in Vincennes, Indiana, which is a town about 30 minutes from us, and there's this place called the Fortnightly Club. We showed it twice there. We had 110 people both nights, and
That's amazing.
yeah, it was to capacity, and we actually passed out surveys and let people tell us what they thought of the film. And actually, the whole beginning sequence of the movie, we actually shot after that showing because we realized that everyone was wanting to know a little bit more about the family of five who was murdered. So we went ahead and we decided to shoot that beginning sequence after reading the comments. So then we showed it again at the Evansville Showplace Cinema East in Evansville, Indiana, the IMAX theater, not actually in the IMAX, but in the theater next to it. And we had 99 people come to it, and it was on I think it was the Sunday before Thanksgiving. We had 99 people come down and check it out. So that was, so like I said, it kind of started spreading through word of mouth a little bit, and then after 13, we showed it twice in Los Angeles at the American Film Market. But like I said, people were, there was just a bunch of anticipation, especially locally and regionally. There was a lot of people who were like, "Hey, when am I going to see your movie? Can I just buy a copy of it?" And I always had to say, "Well, we got stuff in the works right now. Just wait until we'll get it out there. Just give us some time." So there was a lot of people. It just kind of built on word of mouth and just people who had seen it, talking about it and getting it hyped up. And then whenever it finally came out, then it just kind of went kind of crazy with all these people wanting to see it because they had heard about it and stuff.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm hoping a lot of people told me like, man, this is so worth the wait, and I just feel so grateful that people enjoyed it and stuff because that was kind of a, you know, you kind of get with everyone asking you about when's it coming out, when can I see your movie, and you've been working on it for 4 years, it's been completed for 4 years, and you're just wanting people to see it, but you can't really do anything with it because you're just trying to get some deals done, and it's
And
kind of
that's the
nerve
hardest
wracking at
part.
times. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a like I said, it was there was I wanted to make some other to do some other projects and stuff, but we had sank so much into this one, and couldn't, our hands were kind of tied with it, and just didn't know what was going to happen with it. But like I said, so far it's been good though. It's been really good.
Yeah, and I mean that's awesome. I mean, I know for a um well, let me ask you this. Did you do all the editing and stuff, or did you have somebody else do it?
Yes, me and actually my assistant director, Brent, me and him actually, we edited the whole thing together.
Yeah, so
And
see,
I don't even know how many hours we spent editing this thing, but it was several long nights for sure of me and him, because we would edit either through the week on days when we had time in the evening or on weekend nights, just trying to get everything together. And I mean, there would be some times where we just get hung up on one, like, one blend edit wasn't looking right, and we just watch the same thing for like 200
yep,
times trying to get it to look exactly right, because we
yep.
wanted to try to avoid mistakes as much as we could, or flaws in the script, or flaws where you can see, oh, that looks fake, or that's hokey, you can see that, why would they even include that in the film? So we try to avoid that as much as possible.
Oh, that was the one thing that we noticed was the blood. That was the only thing we noticed was the blood. It seemed a little bit too pink.
A little bit too pink, yeah. And that's one thing now. Like my wife, and actually we had a makeup artist that helped us with the family of five that did the cut across the father's face and stuff. I didn't have them at the time for makeup and to do the blood and stuff.
Ah,
So I like I said, I really didn't have anybody that I knew that could do makeup or horror makeup or stuff like that. And but now I feel like I have a very good arsenal of people that would be able to help me on my next project to kind of help improve that aspect of it.
well,
But
I know one of the best ways to make blood, and I might be forgetting an ingredient that you need, but I know the first one is you need food coloring for
hmm
red, and then if you use Hershey's chocolate,
yep, because that's what Hitchcock used in Psycho was her. I mean, he just used
exactly.
Hershey, yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's probably the easiest way to make fake blood anyway.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that was the only thing that we just were like, yeah, okay, like we noticed that's fake, but whatever.
Right. Well, I'll take it, man. If that's the only thing you noticed that looked fake to you, I'll take it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's the
pretty
only
much
thing
the
really
only
that.
thing that stood
Yep.
out to us.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. So that makes me feel very, very, very happy.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, like I said, like when we went to rent your movie, I mean, me being skeptical with movies that I've never heard of, and
Right.
and I mean, don't go get me wrong. I mean, I'm a pretty big horror fan, and
Hmm.
I've seen enough to know what I like, what I don't like, and that type of
Right.
stuff. So, I like the idea of your movie, and it's just that the fact of, okay, now you need to sell me it. Like, this better be
Yeah.
good kind of thing, because
Right.
otherwise, when the time came to do this interview, it would just be like, oh God, like, well,
Well, what do you?
I don't want to ruin his feelings. Like, oh,
Wow.
this looks bad. Like, why didn't you do this?
Right.
But yeah,
Well, I'm glad you like that. So and like and also in the film, we added some comedy aspects of the guys joking around with each other and kind of being a little bit entertaining. And we
being a
had
dick.
people, yeah, being a dick, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Bottom of the barrel.
Bottom of the barrel, yeah, yeah.
I
What's the
mean,
biggest fish at the top of the barrel?
well, let's put it this way. At least your comedy isn't as hmm, what's the word I want to use for this? At least in your film, the comedy isn't as
Dark.
no,
No.
I don't want to use dark. We'll just say dry, like
Oh,
like
dry humor.
dry as like Thanksgiving. If you ever heard of that film?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
I got some catching up to do. I'm taking notes.
Yeah, well, Paul showed me it for like the first time
Me and
last
Tessa,
last year when we
was it
first.
last?
I think it was last year or the year, like when we first got together.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
so two
It's,
years ago almost. Yeah.
almost 2 years ago. He shows it to me, and within like the first 5 minutes of the film,
She was wishing she had something to drink.
what? I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
It's a killer turkey from outer space,
Yeah,
Wow.
and
legitly, I had no other response to that other than what the fuck am I watching? And I need a drink.
Yeah, that's funny.
yeah, we did an episode on Thanksgiving too. So if you want to learn more
Yeah,
about that
I'll
film,
have
you
to
go
check that
listen to
out.
it.
Yeah, I'll have to go check that out for sure.
And there's actually a Thanksgiving 2 where they actually got smart and made a drinking game for it.
Ah.
Oh my God.
I think it was more or less to keep the audience engaged.
Yeah.
Engaged in it,
Oh yeah.
interested.
Yeah, I
It's like,
mean,
here, if you see this or this, take a shot
Take
of
advantage.
this or take a swig of this.
That's funny.
well, this will be an off-topic question, but
Yeah.
what is one film that everybody here has seen where you kind of look at it, watching it, and you're just like, you literally ask yourself, besides saying killing, I already know that's going to be your answer. So no, no, you can't say that again. So what film have you ever seen where you're watching the film and you're literally going, what the fuck am I watching? And I will go first. Has anybody here ever heard or seen the film called Rubber?
Rubber. Nope, not familiar
No,
with it.
I heard about it from you.
Well, Rubber is a killer tire,
Yeah, like automotive tire.
like an automotive tire.
Wow.
So, and how do you know you're about to die from the tire? Oh, easy. The tire rolls up to you and starts shaking.
Really? That's
And
weird.
yep, there
I
was
heard about this through Paul. I haven't personally seen it, but he told me about it, and I'm like, what the hell?
yeah. There's one part where the tire rolls up to a rabbit, shakes, and the rabbit blows up. I don't know the logic of that, but that's literally what
Well
happens.
then, I'm curious to know how the director of that film came up with that
Yeah.
concept of the villain
Being a
being a
tire.
killer tire.
Um,
Yeah,
Wow.
right.
That's
well,
crazy.
what's even more weird about this is that there's like an audience watching the tire.
Okay,
What?
I've got a what the fuck one.
Okay, what's yours?
Zombievers.
Zombie Beavers. I've seen
Yep.
that on Netflix. I haven't
Yep.
actually watched it,
Yep. That's
but
my what the fuck.
Oh my god,
That can film. Oh my
that
god.
movie.
So there, I didn't repeat myself.
No, you
So
didn't. And Jed said he has it on Netflix or seen it on Netflix, but haven't
yeah,
but
actually
hasn't watched
physically
it
seen
yeah.
it.
yet.
I
Yep.
haven't watched it yet. It's on it's on my watch list,
All
but I
right.
haven't
Well, I'm
actually.
gonna I'm gonna forewarn you. Within Zombievers and the Things Killing movies, like within like the first like 30 to 60 seconds, you see boobs.
Oh, well, it's kind of like a Hostel movie then.
Yep.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But
That's
we're gonna kick it up a notch. Thanksgiving starts off with pilgrim titties, though.
really
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah, the most random thing ever. But
Uh,
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, they
I would
literally
say,
yeah, they literally open Things Killing with you seeing boobs.
yep,
Like in your face,
yep,
legitly.
yep,
It's like,
wow,
okay.
that's funny.
And they
Uh,
forewarn you ahead of time too.
yeah, on the
oh
menu.
yeah,
Yep.
Yep.
that's funny. I would have to say mine would be Teeth. Teeth
Oh
was the
my
one where I
god.
was just
Oh my
like,
god,
I
yeah.
I I will not. I don't think I can watch that. I don't know if I would be able to watch that. It
I
was on Netflix a while ago
yeah,
too.
I
yeah.
watched it. I
I
watched it
watched it.
a couple months ago actually. I watched
Yeah.
it cuz I do sitter cases at my job
Mhm.
sometimes and I was really bored, so I'm like, okay, I need something to do cuz otherwise I'm going to fall asleep. So I watched it and I was pretty much like
What are
What?
you
I'm
watching?
like I'm like uh-huh. I
Like I
see.
I understand like the first like I understand the concept. I understand like the first time it happens, but then like her to go into revenge mode was just like
It's like
what?
what?
God.
Yeah, it kind of makes me glad that not all women were made that way cuz wow.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, it's that's probably my the yeah like what am I watching?
Yeah.
Yeah, cuz it kind of reminds me of like something that I've seen on the internet where like there's like this like anti-rape device
Yeah,
thing that's like a
chastity belt kind of.
well, not just that, but it's like a diaphragm type of thing that's like in the
Mhm.
shape of a condom that a woman
Yep.
inserts inside of her that has like these like sharp barbs sticking out of it. So if a guy goes in there and tries to, rape
Well,
her, he's gonna get stabbed.
yeah. Yeah, teeth, that's mine.
Yeah, I'll have to agree. That's definitely up there on my what the fuck list.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I just don't know if I would ever be able to watch it. But then again, I
Uh,
did watch a college film called Dead Girl.
Not
That
very good.
I wouldn't I didn't mind it. It's just that it's one of
mm.
those other ones where you just like, what the hell am I watching?
Oh, I got another one. Zombie strippers.
Oh my god.
I think I've seen that one. It has a. Is that the
That's
one?
up there too.
Does that have Robert Eng? No, it doesn't have Robert England. Does it? No, I can't remember.
I
But
think
yeah, I
it
think I've seen. Does it? I think it does.
I think it does, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I've
haven't
seen that
watched it
one.
in a while, but yeah. Yeah, that's up there too.
Yeah, yeah, that was my second. Actually, I was gonna say, but I wasn't. I couldn't remember all the details with it. I was thinking he was in it, but that was gonna be my second one. My third one would have been The Room.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
he
I
was
love.
like the strip I think he was like the stripper
Yeah,
like
the
club
manager.
boss.
Yeah,
Yeah, the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, my other one would have been The Room with Tommy Lee. I mean, I love that movie, but the first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, what the hell am I watching?" So, but
Yeah, there's quite a lot of them.
yeah, yes,
Um, I can't think of another one besides the one that I always have to say that I kind of wish I was like drunk or high or both at the same time when watching the movie. But it's a UK film called Nightmare Man. It was part of the 8 film to Die For.
okay, yeah, I'm familiar with those. They used to have them at Walmart. You can buy them.
Yep. Yeah, I have all the season or all the volumes except for the newest one that came out, so I'm kind of
Yeah.
slacking. Um, but hey, it's not my fault. Not my fault. When they first came out, they were all digital. They didn't even have physical copies yet. So,
Yeah.
anyway, Nightmare Man. Um, okay, first off, I'm gonna say it somehow got 5 stars, and when you watch it, there is so much bad editing that I fell asleep.
Huh.
Like, I'll never forget it. The worst editing job ever. So the part where the there's somebody running in the woods, right, trying to look for help or whatever, and then there's like a in the woods party going on, and they're playing like strip poker or something. Well, this girl loses her hand or whatever, and like so she had to start stripping. Well, she unbuttons like two of her buttons or something like that, right? Then it cuts back to the person running in the woods. Then it cuts back to the girl still trying to take off that same freaking button.
Huh.
Like the way that you see it though, like it's just like this is bad editing or something. Like something is wrong about this scene right here. There's something wrong. But then throughout the whole movie, it just gets worse and worse. So that's why I kind of that's gonna be have to be my other one for what the hell am I watching?
There you go.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, Jed. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would like to talk about, or
Yeah. I'm not sure if I did a rundown of the film or not, of kind of like a synopsis or just kind of a pitch. So
yeah, I
I'm
don't
just going
think
to
you
go ahead,
did. So
just
yeah,
in
go
case.
ahead.
So, Unlisted Owner is a feature-length found footage horror film. It's about a group of friends that hear about a family of five that's been murdered in a house about a mile away from where they're camping at. And I'm in the film, obviously, and I have a video camera that I just got, so I'm filming everything. And we show up to the house, and there's police cars and ambulances there. And one of my buddies says, "I don't want to go camping this close to where someone's been murdered." Well, we convinced him to go anyways, and through many bad mistakes and drinking and bad choices, we end up back at the house, and that's when all the crazy stuff happens without giving away too much. So that's kind of the movie in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of a truth or dare thing or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kids don't do this at home type
Yeah,
deal. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Speak. Yeah,
and
yeah,
then also the we are doing an autograph poster contest. If you get a copy of the DVD, all you have to do is take a selfie of you with the DVD, tag Unlisted Owner on Facebook, and tag three of your friends in the post, and you'll be entered in the contest. We're doing that drawing January 14th, I believe. And
would a
we also
screenshot work?
well, whatever you want to do. If you want to do a screenshot, however you want to do it, just as long as you have a picture of the movie or that you purchased the movie, have the copy of the movie, or even your purchase thing or whatever you want to do, and just tag three of your friends, and you'll be entered in the contest.
Awesome,
And
awesome.
then we also are we just got in some unlisted owner T-shirts. Unfortunately, we're sold out of the double XL and larger, but we right now we have small through extra large available. Those are $20 plus shipping. I think the double XL is $23 plus shipping. So if anyone's interested in shirts, you guys can go on our Facebook page. Just go on Facebook and look up Unlisted Owner, and it'll pop right up, and just message us on there. Or you can message us through Twitter. You can also email us through our website, www.unlistedowner.com, and or you can also message me on Instagram at Mr. Jed underscore Brian. You guys can follow me on there. I'll have updates and stuff like that on there as well. So, and then also we're trying to work out a deal to do a possible DVD signing at Barnes and Noble in Evansville, Indiana. We don't have an official date yet. We're trying to work out some details on that. So that's kind of what we have in the works.
That's awesome. We'll definitely have to um, help you guys promote as much as we can too,
Well,
because
I
it was
appreciate
definitely a
that.
good film.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, and if you guys enjoy the film, be sure to rate it on Amazon, IMDb, or whatever platform you watch it
Yeah, we
on.
need to do that too. We need to rate the film now that we've seen it. Yep.
Well, I appreciate all the support everyone's given us and gotten us to this point. I mean, an indie film that was shot in, the middle of nowhere in southeastern Illinois, got up to as high as ninth on Amazon's hot new horror release for DVD list and stayed on the list for 14 weeks. So we're very, very proud of that. Very grateful to have the support that we've had with the film.
Yeah, I mean, and if that doesn't say like slap anybody in the face, or even you for like say like thinking, I don't know how well this is gonna go, and then you get the top 10. It is almost like a slap in the face because
Yeah.
you probably weren't really expecting that either. So
No, no, I had no clue. Like, I knew Amazon had a bestseller list, but I had no clue, like, they had, like, categories of, like, top selling hot new horror releases on DVD or top new, I had no clue those lists existed. But once I found out about it, which, I had no clue. I mean, I may have been on it, even before the day my buddy, notified me. So I mean, I may have even been on there longer than 14 weeks. I'm pretty sure it's just, I think it was 2 days after I found out it was coming out. So it's probably maybe a couple of days I was on there that I didn't know. But, the fact that I found out that, it was on the list and that high, kind of gave me something to aim for to try to see if we could actually break into the top 10. And I mean, we broke in the top 10 and stayed in, I think, the number 9 spot for a couple of days. And, and then we stayed on the list for 14 weeks, which is just crazy.
yeah, and that's like a job well done. That's a pat
Well,
on the back.
well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and we were also for some time we were actually in Amazon's choice selection as well,
Oh wow.
which we've kind of gotten some we have some mixed ratings on Amazon right now, which we kind of we don't have that title any longer. But at one point in time, for several weeks, we were in Amazon's official choice selection, so we were really proud of that too.
Wow. I can only imagine what some of these people were saying. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
have to sit down and read it.
Yeah, like I said, we have some really great reviews, and we have some people that which found footage for some people is an acquired taste, and I understand that. I understood that going into it. This is actually the first, besides Unlisted Owner 2, it's actually the only found footage style horror script I'd actually written. All the other ones are traditional. So when I wrote it, I kind of had to look at it from a different perspective. But a lot of people I know found footage can be an acquired taste for some people. So
Yeah.
I knew that going into it. I mean, whenever I went out to the American film market, I heard like a lot. There were several different distribution companies who I talked to, and I pitched the film to them. They loved the idea, and then I said it's found footage, and they said, "Nah, we're not interested." So
Mm,
yeah, so that was, I mean, that was kind of disappointing when we were out there, and we kind of got some no's right off the bat from that. But our distributor that we have, Tomcat Films out of Phoenix, has been awesome to us, and they believed in the film, and they saw the potential in it, so we were lucky to have them on board.
yeah. And I mean, it's always a struggle anyway. But just for to throw it out there, one of my favorite found footage franchise has to be Wreck.
Oh yeah, yep, French, yep. It's a great film or great well series, anyways. Yeah, because they got the first one was awesome. Was
Oh
not,
yeah.
they had no clue where that was going.
No. And then I didn't know this until I researched it more, but
Mm,
Wreck 2 and the American version of Quarantine 2,
mm-hmm.
two different films.
Really?
Now, I know if you look at the first Wreck and you look at the
Mm-hmm.
first Quarantine film,
Yeah.
they pretty much match up.
Right.
But Quarantine 2 and Wreck 2, completely different.
Huh.
Rec 2 actually continued the story
With
with the main
Rick.
protagonist from the first one.
Really?
Yeah. While Quarantine 2 They
What
pretty
is
much
different?
did it from a airplane point of view.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hadn't seen. I just seen the first of both of those. I'd never seen the second ones. I seen record. I guess I've never seen record two. I've seen record three because I think they have a third one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the third one was the wedding.
Wedding. Yeah, the wedding one. Yeah,
Yep,
I'd seen that one. Yeah.
yep.
Um,
And
and
then
then
Rec 4 came out a couple years ago.
yeah, I haven't seen that one. I need to see that one. I
That
haven't seen it.
might still be on Netflix.
I might have to check that out. I actually one of my favorite found footage films. I wasn't really expecting to. I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to like it. Was Grave Encounters. I really
Oh
enjoyed
my
Grave
God,
Encounters.
yes. I like that too. That was really
Yep.
good.
Yeah, they was. I mean, they had that one twist in there with when they opened the doors, and I was just like, yes, this is awesome. So,
Yep. Tessa has to. I still need to show Tessa Ghost Encounters, but that'll be a day.
yep, there you go. Yep, check Grave Encounters is great.
Yeah. Tessa, there a found footage franchise or movie in general that you'll really enjoy? Mm,
Not that you guys haven't already mentioned already.
no,
Mm-mm.
you don't want to even say like Blair Witch.
Mm, I liked some. I like some of Blair Witch, but
If you wanted to say Unlisted Owner's your favorite, I'll, I mean,
Unlisted was really good. I was
awesome,
actually very impressed with it.
awesome. Well, thank you.
But I did like Blair Witch as well, but
Yeah,
I guess
I like the traditional style horror films.
I like
She's almost as picky as me, maybe
yeah
a little bit
yeah
worse.
what?
You
I
know,
I
you
like
know what you
practical.
like. That's good.
I like
Yeah.
yeah, I do. I know what I like, and I know what I want to see in a film, and
Yep,
be damned if you disappoint me type of deal.
yep. There you
Um
go.
but I'm one of those types of people where I like practical effects,
Yeah,
and I don't mind CGI if it's not overkilled and it's
right.
done right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty much pretty much like my other half next to me.
yeah.
He's not a fan of like overkill with CGI either. And that's one of the things that like killed it for us for the new Resident Evil is there
Was
was
all the CGI.
Yep.
way too much freaking CGI and there was no build up. It just ugh.
It
Is
almost looked like it was trying to be way too much 3D too. Cause wasn't it also in maybe
Yeah.
3D?
Yeah.
yeah, that's sad. I mean, CGI has its places, but it's just to have the real effects is just so much so much
Believable.
more. Yeah, yeah, and I mean CGI. I mean you know if they try to make a creature that's CGI, it just it kind of it's same with me. It kind of kills it sometimes. There's nothing. I mean, I love seeing like classic monsters. I like seeing the makeup and the special effects. Like guy getting his arm ripped off stump. That not a whole bunch of digital stuff like a digital kill or like Deep Blue Sea where Samuel L. Jackson gets killed by that shark. I mean
Oh my
that's just
God. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
CGI like that.
practical effects monsters are like really well done costume monsters that are
Hmm.
some of my favorites personally. Like is Pyramid Head from freaking Silent Hill. That guy
Yeah.
was a
Yes.
badass.
Yeah. Or the
And
nurses even from
the
Silent Hill
nurses
were.
were
Yes.
great too. I
Yes.
loved the
Yes.
nurses. And
Yeah.
the new I don't know if you've seen it yet, but the new like Krampus
Yep.
movie,
Yep. Yeah. Those little
how they
elf
did
guys were good.
yep,
Yeah.
the elf guys and how they did Krampus in that movie. It
And
was
the
just
Jack in the Box.
and
Yeah.
the
They were.
Jack in the
Oh
Box
yeah.
monster, it was just
And
awesome.
the angel
Yep,
doll
Yep.
the
thing.
cherub thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I'm a big fan of that too. I don't like a whole bunch of CGI. I mean, CGI does have its places in certain aspects,
If
Yeah.
but
it's
there's a
done right and it's not
Yes.
overkilled, yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's nothing more I love than seeing, like dude in a costume and stuff. Because like if I want to go somewhere and go to a haunted house, I mean, if I see like a dude dressed up like Jason, or see a guy dressed up like Michael Myers, or some type of other, monster or something, it looks, it's like something out of the movie. Like, it's, what is it? Universal Studios is those Hollywood Horror Nights. Me and my
Yep.
wife, and we'd went a couple years to them, and I
Lucky
mean,
bastard.
Mhm.
yeah. So like, we did the Halloween. I think it was Halloween 2 one, and you're
Ooh.
actually, or it was Halloween 2 or Halloween 1, one of the two, and you're actually in a closet, and there's Michael Myers like stabbing at you, and they had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, and the house that you are in, it looks just like the one from the movie, and the guy looks just
Okay,
like,
that's going on our bucket list. That's
yo.
something we're gonna do.
Oh, it's like you're actually in the movie. Like, my wife was getting on to me because I was sitting there looking at all the props and stuff. She goes, "Will you go? There's people behind us." And I'm like, "Yeah, but look at this. Look at the detail. I mean, they got the animal skulls on the wall and stuff like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I mean, the Exorcist one. They had
It's like so hard to not stop and
oh
admire the beauty
yeah,
of it all.
I
And
mean, the Exorcist one, they
yeah.
had the sheets that had the vomit on them, and it kind of smelled like. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, we did the Walking Dead one too. They had these different scare zones, and one of them was a Walking Dead scare zone. And when we went out to Los Angeles, they because they actually did it on the back lot whenever you're walking
Wow.
around, and they had a fake city, and they had all this fog and these strobes, and there's all these actors dressed up like zombies, and you're walking through the middle of it, and you're just like, I feel like I'm actually on the show right now. And heck, I mean, we whenever we were walking around, you actually got to walk on the set of where Psycho was filmed. You got to walk, like, I was sitting there walking, on the right where the hotel rooms are. I went past, room 2, where Janet Leigh was in, and go up there on the front porch of the Psycho house, and you get a photo op with a guy dressed up like Norman Bates. I mean, it was amazing. So
Nice. Nice.
Yep,
highly
I guess we
recommend
gotta
that.
do it.
Well, that's if Norman Bates' place is still up, because I thought I heard an article saying something that it's getting taken down or something.
No, I
But
mean we need to do like one of those
Oh,
I
in
know, but
general that he's talking about
I'm
because that
still
oh,
sounds like
talking
you're
about
hella
you're
fun.
Psycho.
yeah, the house you're talking about is the one they actually used for the TV show,
Oh,
for Bates Motel.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that they actually used for the filming of Psycho, they've actually refurnished it and stuff. There's actually a Facebook page called Save the Psycho House, and they had a whole bunch of people that were trying to get them to remodel it and stuff because it was starting to get dilapidated a little bit. And probably the weirdest thing about the studio backlot tour is that the Grinch set with Jim Carrey is right beside Psycho. Very weird. Not even kidding you. Yeah, so there's like,
Oh
you get to see like
wow.
part of the house from one of the houses from Whoville, and right beside that is there's the row of hotel rooms.
That's
Oh
funny.
man, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, so highly recommend you guys taking the studio backlot tour, but definitely go at Halloween time when they have the horror nights. And you might want to research and see, because every season they change it up what haunted houses they have at the different ones. Like, I think the year we went out to Los Angeles, they had American Werewolf in London, and it was
Oh
actually
yeah.
scenes from the movie. And then they had
Yep.
Walking Dead,
Yep.
and I can't remember what
They
the
did a
other one.
Nightmare one. I'm pretty sure they did
Yeah,
a
they had a Krampus one
they
too, I
did have a
think.
Krampus one.
Yeah. And then the
Yeah.
year that we went to Florida, that's when we did, I think it was Halloween 2, and we did Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Walking Dead again and Exorcist, I think were the ones we did
Ooh,
that year. So that was a pretty good lineup. That was pretty solid.
that would have
Yeah.
been even great to see.
Yeah.
Speaking of Halloween, do you hear the news about the new Halloween coming out next
Yeah.
year?
Yeah. They even got Nick Castle supposed to play the Shane.
Yeah.
So pretty,
Yeah.
pretty excited about that.
Oh man,
And then
I
Blumhouse
cannot
is
wait.
behind it, I'm pretty sure, right? I
Who?
think Blumhouse, Jason Blumhouse Studios, they're the ones that are behind it, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe
I
so.
want to say
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I
I
know
love
George
Blumhouse stuff.
Carpenter is in it as
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
executive producer. I think he's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty interesting for sure.
Oh yeah. Yep. That has already been put in my phone for next for this
Yeah.
year, I should say. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I can't wait. But yeah. Is there anything else, Jed?
Nope.
That
Just like I said, go out and check out Unlisted Owner if you haven't already. It's available on Amazon. For you can buy the DVD or you can rent it on Amazon or watch the digital download. The DVD has all the special features though. You can get it on Barnes and Noble's website. You can get it on the Microsoft Store. You can get it on your Xbox. That's why I ended up having to get it for my Xbox, of course.
I wonder if it's on the PlayStation Store.
I don't know if it is or not. The last time I had checked, it wasn't. But like I said, it seems like every day we get on new platforms. You can watch it on YouTube as well. It's available for purchase on YouTube. You
I
can watch
forgot
it on,
YouTube did that.
yeah, you can also watch it on iTunes, and it's
Nice.
also available at the Google Play Store.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, so we're on several platforms. It was out on Best Buy's website. I think it's sold out on there, and it was also available on Turner Classic Movies website, but I think it's also sold out on there.
And
But
apparently it's sold out on Best Buy too. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
for
So,
some
but
weird reason.
yeah, for some weird reason, I'm not exactly sure on that, um, but yeah, but like I said, you can definitely get it on Amazon 100% for sure.
Yeah. So before we end it, Jed, if people wanted to find Unlisted Owner, where can you be found for Unlisted Owner?
Our most updated form of communication is through Facebook. If you just go to facebook.com and look up Unlisted Owner, it'll pop right up. We're also available on Twitter at Unlisted Owner. You can also follow me on Instagram, and it's at Mr. Period Jed Jed underscore Brian, and you can follow me on there. I also have updates on there as well. So those are the three, and then also our website, of course, www.unlistedowner.com. There's a trailer on there you can check out, and also there's a trailer on YouTube. So, or if you just Google the movie, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You might even find the urban legend yourself.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, Jed, I appreciate the time and definitely you reaching out to us. It's definitely an honor to interview with you.
Hey,
And
it was a pleasure was all mine coming on the show. I appreciate you guys having me on.
no, no, I appreciate you for taking your time as well. I mean, I hope you had fun with us,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and for that, you're more than welcome to come back anytime if
Awesome. Well,
you
I appreciate that.
so. So when Unlisted Owner, oh god, a two comes out, we can definitely discuss the symbol on that, maybe.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we'll get some real good questions. So,
Yeah, and I'll throw it out there too for those listening. Me and Jed here were discussing before the interview too that possibly down the road we may do a contest for their movie, which would be a signed copy of the DVD, and we just need to figure out what we could do to have the winners be picked. Maybe it would be like something fun, like reenact a certain scene or something, or whatever. Who knows?
yeah, who knows? Yeah, we may do a DVD or a poster or T-shirt or something like that. We'll get something figured out.
Yeah, we will definitely figure out something for you guys, so that way you can be more involved, and that way unlisted owners out there, and so same with us in a weird way.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but yeah, Jed, I know you said you listened to our episode before, so do you know how we usually end the episode?
Um, I'm not exactly sure. Do you usually ask a question or something to end it with, or just have a certain sign off?
No, we usually say stay scary.
Yeah, it's our
That's usually our end model
All right. Well, stay
slogan.
scared.
Yeah, stay scared.
yep.
And
Stay scary.
stay scary. Yes. And for everybody else, don't don't become a victim.